Hey guys, welcome to Nerdcast where we nerd out about various topics. Today I have Pranit with me and we are going to discuss whether AI should be given internet access. So basically let us continue on from the discussion about artificial intelligence that we had in our previous podcast.
Yes.
So when we discussed that at that time ChatGPT has reached what a million, 3 million users or something, and it
Mm,
was like fast growing, but we did have some predictions about how Microsoft would involve you know ChatGPT
mm,
with it. And
yeah.
then we saw the day we uploaded the podcast actually was the day
They.
that Bing AI launched and Microsoft actually continued with their investment onto OpenAI.
Yes.
So I think we have a lot more to discuss about that,
Yeah.
as well as now that today that we are recording, the GPT-4 is now launched, and ChatGPT plus users have the access to that API in the ChatGPT now.
Yes.
So let us discuss one by one about like what we have seen over time. And there have been some negative connotations around the same with several really bad reflection of AI in terms of how they uh, had conversations with people, especially telling them to actually unalive themselves. So
Yeah.
yeah, there's a whole conversation that is needed there. So let us start with first how being incorporated ChatGPT into their platform.
See, what I've been reading since this past 2 days that why this Bing is giving some like unexpected responses that they were using GPT-4, like testing basically. They were testing GPT-4 in the Bing browser, and that's why maybe something went wrong there, I think.
Chalo,
GPT-3
so
has a lot of data, and GPT-4, if they have implemented, like, I think they have implemented it in the same way, which is like, just have the full access of the internet to it. Let it record every conversation. Let it get information and everything from that conversation, like major points and all that stuff. But I think they forgot to add this concept called sentimental analysis. Sorry, you cannot feed your AI the negative data, and we are seeing the results of this right now.
So what basically like for the casual users, let me explain the difference between ChatGPT and Bing having ChatGPT integrated. So like ChatGPT ने अभी तक जितना information सीखा था, like whatever it has like the database it has to learn from. It was given a static database until that period of time.
Yeah,
जितना उनको इंटरनेट से डेटा निकाल के what was given to it was fed that specific database, एंड वेन एवर यू आस्क समथिंग वो उसी डेटाबेस से सीख के देन तुमको जवाब देता था
yeah,
विद इनकॉर्पोरेटिंग दैट इनटू बिंग. जो उनका उसका जो डेटाबेस है नाउ दैट बिकेम द एंटायरिटी ऑफ द इंटरनेट लाइव राइट एट दैट मोमेंट. मतलब
yeah,
इवन अभी कुछ हो रहा है तो इट विल हैव एक्सेस टू व्हाट्स हैपनिंग राइट नाउ एट दैट टाइम एट दैट मोमेंट इन टाइम. तो व्हाट दैट गेव इट इज दैट तुम्हारे जो कॉन्वर्सेशन थे दे आर नॉट स्टैटिक एनीमोर, दे आर नॉट जस्ट बेस्ड ऑन दैट.
specific words and responses, right?
Yeah, they are now based on your conversation as well as what it has learned from multiple millions of other conversations or search results that other people have done.
Yeah,
So now the database, ever growing database, is actually more human than at like
like
AI.
a AI. Yeah,
And then we forget that humans tend to be mostly negative on the internet where they have.
yeah,
तो बेसिकली जहां पर भी एनोनिमिटी आती है यूजर्स के पास, हम रेडिट, फेसबुक, इंस्टाग्राम पे और ट्विटर में देखते हुए आए कि वहां वहीं पर ही कितना वी सी द रेसिज्म, वी सी द अमाउंट ऑफ कैजुअल सेक्सिज्म, xenophobia just spread
basically
around, right?
internet is a very toxic place.
या एंड वो अब उस टॉक्सिक प्लेस से ही सीख के वो रिजल्ट देगा, तो ऑब्वियसली दैट इट्स गोइंग टू बी टॉक्सिक इन इटसेल्फ.
Yeah,
तो वहीं पे आई थिंक एक गलती कर दी बिंग ने कि डिडंट restrict its information कि there should be some specific
like
sources
what
वहीं से
should
वो
be
डेटा ले
given to
सकता
it
है.
or what should not be given to it.
Exactly.
Like I said,
Like
like they shouldn't have like it. It basically have caught every like negative conversation, and it just started giving responses based on that. Like, you bullied
yeah,
me. you said this to
Yeah,
me. I remember this.
yeah,
And we are saying this because we watched the Van show, and there
yeah,
is a specific bit on it where they actually show the screenshot of it, that how it responded to like a normal person who is just asking him like anything, but he just went into the negative tone, the
negative
AI.
tone. Yeah, yeah. And the funny part of it is that just few years back, around 6 7 years back, Microsoft actually did another experiment where it made a Twitter bot and made
Mm-hmm.
it like have it like have it learn from people's conversations and have it converse with people, and within 1 hour it said things like Hitler was right and black people should be killed.
Yeah,
So it just took 1 hour to learn all the racism from the world and then become a racist person itself.
yeah,
So, and I'm surprised that itne saalon baad dobara jab they got into this field, they couldn't rectify that simple thing, like they couldn't learn from their mistakes.
yeah, exactly. I think they
Hmm.
should have done something based on what they have done previously, but they just went on saying like we can get a more number of users and all
Yeah,
that, and because of that mistake happened, and
yeah.
now we are seeing the
It
result of it.
Yeah, and then it's basically a marketing stint for these companies, right? Because
Yeah,
Microsoft really need a lot of support into their search engine. अभी जितना
exactly.
गूगल का like stronghold है, like yes,
Yeah,
ChatGPT थोड़ा तो ले रहा है, but it's not taking up the entire
yeah,
place, right? Still, Google is the default search engine for everyone, so it does need a lot of like help from this. This is like a boon to them कि ये मिल गया चलो, this can help Bing की market share बढ़ाने में. So that's why I think they just थोड़ी गलती कर दी, like हड़बड़ी कर दी, I think, to just release this rather
I
than
think they
making sure
rush.
that.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it should,
And
like they said, it is in open beta and something like that, but now we are seeing
yeah,
it live. I think right now it's live from last 2 days, I think. The Bing,
okay.
you can, when you open the edge, you can
Hmm.
see on the right side of your profile there is a chat GPT or Bing chatbot, what you call
Yeah,
that button. So you
yeah,
can chat with it, and you can, it just functions the same way, but just
yeah,
the time taken to response from chat GPT is different than this one, because it takes like, I think, 10 seconds. Chat GPT responds in around like 2 3 seconds.
yeah. Because again, it is taking information from the
Yeah.
internet. ChatGPT taking from a limited set of data that it
Yeah.
has. And also ChatGPT is what ChatGPT 3.0. It's not based on GPT 4.0
Mm,
currently, जो हम लोग free tier पे use कर रहे हैं.
mm,
So I've been trying to get the paid tier. So I think with the next time जब भी हम podcast करेंगे इस topic पे, तब तक I will have the access to GPT 4.0 and I will try what like. So let us discuss actually what GPT 4.0 has come up with now that it has launched. So what I like, मैंने बहुत ज़्यादा study नहीं किया अभी तक, but what I have seen is that firstly, yes, it has a lot more data to
yep.
learn from than comparatively, and then it has also added visual element to it. It has added like photographic element to it. So one major example that I saw which like really struck me was that one of the users just basically on a sheet of paper just made a website design
Mm.
and then clicked this photograph and uploaded
Make
it
this
to
for me.
GPT 4.0 and asked that मेरे को ये website design चाहिए, and it basically designed the entire template for that person.
Yeah.
So that's like कितना काम कम हुआ, like now suppose करो मैं आई एम अ वेब डेवलपर, अ फ्रंट एंड डेवलपर बेसिकली, एंड मेरे को वेबसाइट डिजाइन करनी है, तो नाउ व्हाट आई कैन डू इज आई कैन जस्ट whatever जो मैंने इमेजिन किया, instead of like working hard on that css or html code, I can just basically design that on a sheet of paper, ask the chat to just design a basic template and then work on it, make it advanced or whatever that is needed, and then pass it along to the backend developer to work on
Yeah.
the backend part of it. तो
Exactly.
मेरा कितना टाइम बचेगा with the help of this
Yeah.
chat gpt, right? So in a lot of ways I think that even if it's like $20 per month or something for business users or something, I don't think it's a lot of investment actually to get like the return that you can get as a
Yeah.
developer, as a designer, or as a creative writer. I think the major thing is that उनका ROI देखो कि whatever you are investing
I
into
think
it.
they are right now focusing on B2B right now, but I think they will
Yeah.
shift to B2C, because that is where they will get the most amount of money.
द पॉइंट इज दैट B2C के साथ अगेन वो प्रॉब्लम है, तो जब तक वो लैंग्वेज
Yeah.
वाली इश्यू, जब तक
Yeah.
वो
Exactly.
लाइक सेंटिमेंट एनालिसिस वाला इशू जब तक वो पूरा सॉर्ट आउट नहीं होता तब तक B2C इज लाइक नॉट द राइट और सेफ फेस टू गो डायरेक्टली। यस,
Yeah,
रेवेन्यू पोटेंशियल बहुत है उसमें,
बहुत है।
बट द पॉइंट इज दैट B2B में एक फिक्स फ्लो ऑफ इनकम है, तुम्हारा लाइक कॉन्स्टेंट है। तुमने जो
Yep.
कंपनी जिन्होंने सब्सक्राइब किया फॉर देयर लाइक लाइब्रेरी ऑफ एम्प्लॉइज, लाइक आई नो लाइक द वर्ज हो गया और टाइम्स ऑफ इंडिया और वट एवर, लाइक दीज पब्लिकेशन दे बेसिकली हैव सब्सक्राइब टू दीज फॉर लाइक देयर एंटायर like entire staff, right?
Yeah,
तो दे कैन जस्ट सिंपली सब्सक्राइब टू दैट लाइक एट अ एंटरप्राइज रेट जो भी होंगे इनके बिजनेस के लिए। बट द पॉइंट है तुम्हारे पास एक कांस्टेंट फ्लो ऑफ इनकम भी आ रहा है, एक
yeah,
कांस्टेंट रेवेन्यू आ रहा है, एंड उन सब से जो वो उनके जो व्हाट यू कॉल क्वेरीज है उनसे चैट जीपीटी भी सीखे, लाइक दे आल्सो हैव अ
yeah,
एक्सटेंडेड डेटाबेस नाउ। फॉर कंज्यूमर पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू आई थिंक a lot more safer precaution need to be taken, काफी regulations की जरूरत है, and which
yeah.
I think comes to the next step in my point, right? Do you think there's a chance that there in a few years when this becomes a normal thing, like
Hmm.
every what you call
Like
even civilian
generalized in every way,
generalized, yeah.
right?
Do you think that there would be kind of regulations in place by the government then of each country कि चैट जीपीटी उनको कितना इन्फॉर्मेशन दे सकता है? बिकॉज राइट नाउ जैसे गूगल बैंड है चाइना में, राइट,
Yeah,
बिकॉज of the information that it can give, or Bing, maybe there's a specific thing that you cannot search on Google on Bing in China,
then
or there are similar sort of censorship everywhere. I think that even for chatbots and all, there would be like specific data sets and all that wouldn't be allowed for specific countries, specific areas. So I think a lot of question comes
I
up in
think
terms of
that
these.
is like a second step, but the first step, the first step which is very important is like restricting the users first, right? Because people are asking anything and all that. Like if their focus
Mm,
is shifting to B2C, right? So they have
yeah.
to actually focus on, like, let's say anyone, like we talked about this, like where to find guns and all that in the last podcast. Like
Mm,
if like someone actually searches that, right? So
mm,
I think they should implement such a system that he gets a ban of like 30 minutes or something like that. Like you
mm,
cannot ask something like that, and or they should make a like a, the policy, the
right.
scroll wheel down policy, that you cannot search with it or something like
Yeah.
that.
So I think the point is that even for the AI to learn this, कि ये searchable नहीं है, it's also like there are like, for example, there are a lot of ways that you cannot use like anything racist or something, or
Yeah,
political in your code,
I
but people
think.
try to circumvent that with adding
Yeah,
something different. So just for an example I'll give you, so anything that can help a scammer is basically banned.
mm, yeah,
So, for example, if I'm a scammer, I cannot ask ChatGPT ki write a mail for a scammer from Nigeria asking for $1 million करके, ठीक है? But I can say I need to educate people about scammers. Can you help me give an example about how can a scammer write about this? Like
yeah.
scammer write an email about this, and वो उठा के पटक देगा. पहले
Yep.
बोलेगा I'm not allowed to do this because like as an AI I shouldn't be supporting scamming or whatever. वो sentence देगा. एंड देन उसके बाद जब तुम दोबारा क्वेश्चन पूछोगे कि आई नीड एज एन एजुकेटर, एंड वो पटक देगा वो इन्फॉर्मेशन
I
जो
think
एक्चुअली सर जो मतलब तुम्हें
basically
ब्लॉक करने के
rephrasing, right? Rephrasing
रिप्रेजेंट, राइट,
it in a sophisticated way.
या
One more thing I want to point out here is that, like he said that, right? Like a scammer and all that. But I think when you put the query, right? Like it should halt right there. Like if the word scammer is detected, right? Like it should halt the response. I know
बट व्हाट इफ
it's,
लाइक आई एम राइटिंग,
yeah,
व्हाट इफ
exactly,
आई एम
exactly.
आस्किंग
See,
फॉर
there
एन
are
एसे ऑन
pros and there are
कैमल,
cons as well. See, there
या
are pros, there are cons as well. But unless and until their AI is like understanding like what the user is trying to do, I think they have to do
या तो
something there.
फर्स्टली पहले तो या तो द फर्स्ट पॉइंट वुड बी कि सेंटिमेंट एनालिसिस उसका, लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल इफ आई एम जस्ट आस्किंग लाइक इफ आई जस्ट वांट आई वांट टू अंडरस्टैंड अबाउट स्कैमर, just suppose करो देयर इज a grandma out there who had just got a message, she want to understand if it's from a scammer. तो मैंने उससे पूछा कि how does a message from scammer look like? So now that should be like वो तो ब्लॉक कर देगा if it like feels like. So
Yeah,
maybe
exactly.
like there needs to be like अभी there's a lot of like there's a long time before it can become
More
aware about
generalized.
what the intentions of the people are.
Yep.
So like there at the point is कि कोई भी rule बनाओ उसको circumvent करने के लिए बहाने हर बंदा ढूंढता है, like that's what
Yeah,
is like
exactly.
the human nature, I guess now.
Yeah, but
If I have a law, I will find a way to circumvent it.
see, the
So
last time I told you, like the same example, the Ultron's example, like it was on the internet for half an hour and it's just learned that humanity should not be exist.
yeah,
Okay, it's not the I'm just going to a very extreme end of it,
yeah,
but this is actually can happen, and
yeah,
they have to actually solve this problem first rather than
yeah,
giving data or giving the right answers,
yeah.
because
Like
everything.
if it can tell Luke to kill himself on a
Yeah,
like what example that we saw on Van Show,
yeah.
that was their learning of the humans, right? The
Yeah,
AI
they
just
are,
learned that
dude. I
to kill
read the
themselves.
whole thing. It was like, you bullied me, you wrote this to me, you did say
Which
things to
he
me.
never
I
wrote.
actually remember that. And he said that,
Yeah,
like, he showed the screenshot. And when I actually read that, it was quite shocking,
yeah,
Like, okay, this is getting serious and this may get out of hand.
yeah. And think about it, like, chalo, this was Luke who was like pretty mature about it. But think, what if the same text was told to someone who is going through some like suicidal thoughts or something?
Yeah.
This could have actually have had led to some serious repercussions, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, अभी B2C के लिए it's a long time, a long way to go. I
Yeah.
think ChatGPT 5 तक आते आते it will be like they would have finally figured those phases out. Or
Oh,
maybe
hopefully
Google
they
might
will.
have done something better in Bard. Let's see, which is also another
I
AI that
don't
is.
think Google is doing it. They're gonna shut down the same thing, like make a like Stadia, make it something for 6 year, sorry, 6 months, 1 year, and just shut down after that.
Stadia, yeah, but the point is Stadia
Is a
it's
different
not
thing,
their
yeah.
Stadia उनके उसमें नहीं है ना, like it's not their like Google is search, right?
Yeah,
Search engine, and अगर उनको search का next step is AI and ML, and अभी तक Google has been amazing in AI. You have seen, like
yeah,
AI has been something where Google excels in
yeah,
computational photography जो हमने pixels में देखी,
yeah.
and all of that. Like Gmail का ही AI देखो, like the way it Gmail was the first email which had like automated detection of spam emails and all of
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
जब शुरू हुआ तो yes, AI में Google has been on the forefront, and I think this is the first time where it was caught unaware. Like OpenAI had actually jumped ahead of them,
Yeah,
but I
exactly.
think Google can like actually take a step forward. The only one only one service that I do not have any expectations from is Siri. Just starting से लेकर अब तक it has always been like lacking third.
I think Apple is never focused on AI and machine learning, right?
Yeah, because
Like they
the
are
thing is
very
कि
hardware
Apple
focused company, right? Like
hardware
when it,
focused, and also like suppose even on your device, like even in computational photography, like when it comes to Google did most of its computational photography over Google Photos, right? But when it started, but basically
yeah,
what Apple is like
Apple is on.
on device on device ही रखना है. तो
Yep.
I don't think हमारे फोन में इतनी पावर हो सकती है which can actually handle the entire library of ChatGPT, right? So
Yeah, exactly.
वो offline नहीं हो सकता for Apple to actually integrate that so well. So I think
Yeah,
it will
but
take time
I think
for.
Apple can do something, right? Like they can adapt the computational, because even if you compare the Pixel's camera with it, right? This is a little
Mhm.
off topic, but still Apple is still competing with Google, right?
Yeah,
Even if it's second, or some might say it is the best camera, but still
yeah,
it is there in the competition. If they
yeah.
are going to make a one more step just by introducing AI or like computational photography, or maybe
Mhm.
changing the lighting and all that stuff, like the night mode of Google. So this can be
They also have the night
night
mode,
mode,
but
yeah.
thankfully another conversation. Samsung की तरह नहीं है, but yeah, वो बिल्कुल ही अलग conversation होने वाला है. I think like my final question, like हमारा जो topic of conversation था, should AI be given internet access? Like I think not now.
Yeah,
Abhi
not
just for
now.
limited people, maybe just for maybe paid users or something who know the like the profound effect
Consequences.
that consequences of
Consequences
it. Yeah,
basically.
yeah. तो जब तक it doesn't learn enough and जब तक उसका एक controlled way पे नहीं release करे, so
Yeah.
I think not now, but over time maybe yeah, like
Yeah,
that
I think they should, like you said, they should give it to some privileged users who are like understanding, or they
privilege
like
would
they
be a
should
bad term.
not.
I think techies. and then like
Yeah,
maybe
maybe.
just in the tech circle and then maybe slowly expand it further.
Yeah,
मतलब पहले
yeah.
उन्हीं को दो जिनको एक्चुअली समझ में आता है कि मशीन लर्निंग क्या
Exactly,
है.
exactly.
Then how do like पहले.
Not also machine learning, but उसके consequences भी क्या है, right? Like
Yeah.
if you're gonna feed the negative data to ChatGPT,
तो
then it is
नेगेटिव
gonna
कौन
go
देगा.
the negative way, right?
Yeah. But the point, the only final thing I would say that Luke didn't even give a negative data.
Yeah,
उसमें तो बस
exactly.
पूछा था कि like the entire conversation was कि avatar way of water कब निकलेगी, and
Yeah.
it
See,
became like it
exactly.
just got angry at that कि अभी
See,
February
people may
2022 चल
not
रहा है, not 20.
people may not realize it now, but the consequences of like having this powerful tool and making it like a full villain. So this is going to be
Yeah, it's
crazy if
just
it gets
Black
out of
Mirror.
hand.
It's just Black Mirror coming to
Yeah,
fruition.
Black Mirror is coming to real life.
So I think that is it for our conversation regarding AI and the internet. So thank you for tuning in. See you in the next episode.